The fear factor. Ask a German veteran about the Americans, and they'll talk about endless supplies. Ask them about the British, and they'll talk about stubbornness. But ask an SS Panzer commander about the Canadians, and the tone changes. They were terrified of them. Why? Because the Canadian Armoured Corps didn't play by the rules. While other Allied units were cautious, the Canadians took the M4 Sherman, a mediocre tank, and turned it into a weapon of psychological terror through what I call unhinged doctrine. They modified their tanks in ways that were technically illegal and tactically insane. The blue barrel hack. Let's start with the Firefly. The Sherman Firefly was the only Allied tank that could kill a tiger from long range. The Germans knew this, so they had a standing order: kill the Firefly first. Canadian crews realized they were priority targets, so they hacked the visual system of the enemy. They used counter-shading. They painted the front half of their massive 17-pounder gun barrels sky blue or white. From 800 yards away, the barrel disappeared against the horizon. To a German gunner, the Firefly looked like a harmless, short-barreled Sherman. They would ignore it to target someone else. By the time they realized the mistake, a high-velocity shell was already tearing through their frontal armor. It was a dirty trick, and it worked beautifully. Concrete armor. Then there was the concrete craze. Canadian crews knew their armor was too thin. American General Patton banned his troops from adding sandbags or scrap metal, saying it strained the engines. The Canadians, they didn't care. They went full construction crew. They built wooden forms on the front of their tanks and poured tons of reinforced concrete onto the hulls. Did it actually stop a German 88mm shell? Physics says probably not. In fact, it destroyed the transmissions, but the psychological effect was massive. Imagine being a German infantryman. You shoot a tank, and instead of burning, it keeps coming, looking like a rolling boulder. It signaled that this enemy was relentless. They were willing to break their own machines just to get 50 yards closer to your throat. But the most unhinged innovation was the kangaroo. In 1944, infantry were dying because they had to walk behind the tanks. The Canadian General Guy Simonds looked at his artillery tanks, the priests, and said, "Gut them." They ripped the guns out of perfectly good tanks. They sliced the turrets off. They turned them into hollow steel buckets and packed 12 infantrymen inside. This was the invention of the modern APC, Armored Personnel Carrier, created in a muddy field workshop. And finally, the pepper pot. The Canadians would line up their tanks and fire them like artillery indirectly, over hills. They fired so fast and for so long that they literally stripped the rifling out of the barrels. They ruined the guns to save the men. The Wehrmacht prided itself on precision engineering. The Canadians defeated them with junkyard fury. They proved that in total war, the manual is just a suggestion. It wasn't the tank that mattered. It was the aggression of the crew inside it. The Sherman was a flawed machine, but in Canadian hands, it became a legend. If you love stories of battlefield improvisation, drop a like and subscribe. See you on the next one.